So hello guys, welcome back to the complete Python series. In this video we are going to see about different types of loops in Python. Before moving further, let us understand what is a loop. Loop is a structure that repeats a sequence of instruction until a specific condition is satisfied. Loops are the most important topic to start any programming language. Let us check why loops are so important. Now, let us assume that we want to print hello 100 times. So, without using loop, we have to write print statement for 100 times. But while using a loop, we can just write a single loop and print hello 100 times within a very few lines of code. The main advantage of using loops is that it reduces the size of code and code becomes more readable with help of loops. Now let us see types of loop. In Python we have two types of loop, that is for loop and while loop. Python does not support do while loop. So if we know that how many times we want to iterate through loop, in such cases we use for loop. But if we don't know the condition when to stop the loop, then in such cases we use while loop. Now let us understand loops with help of example. But before moving further, let us see what is a range function. The range function is used to generate an iterable sequence of integer between a starting point and an ending point. Now let us use range function and pass 0 as a starting point and 10 as a ending point. This function will return us a list of elements from 0 to 9. This is because the ending index is being excluded. This was all about the range function in Python. Now let us see for loop with an example. For loop is used to traverse in a particular sequence. If we want to iterate over natural numbers, we can make a list of numbers or use a range function. So let us print the values from 0 to 10 using for loop. So I will write for I in range 0 to 10, then I will just print the value of I in each iteration. Now you can see that we have got output that is from 0 to 9. This is because the ending index 10 is being excluded. Similarly, you can change the parameters in range function and adjust the starting point and the ending point of a loop. We can also use for loop to iterate through many different data types such as list, set, tuple, etc. Now in this example, let us see how to iterate through a list. So let us create a list li and assign few values to it. Now I have created a list with 5 elements. Now let us see how to iterate through this. So to iterate through this list, we should use for I in name of the list, that is li, and then we can write all the block of statements which we want to execute. So let us print the value of I. Now you can see that in each iteration we have accessed one element from the list. Similarly, you can also check this for sets, tuples, etc. Now let us see while loop. While loop is an entry control loop. The disadvantage of for loop is that we cannot use condition inside the loop. So in Python, if we need a loop that works on a certain condition, then we will go for while loop. And Also, if we need an infinite loop, then we can use while loop. Now, let us use while loop for the same example, that is to print from 0 to 10. So, initially we need to initialize the value of I, that is I equal to 0. Then we can use while loop. Then in while loop we have to specify the condition. So I will specify condition as I is less than or equal to 10. It means that until the value of I is less than or equal to 10, this loop will be executing. When the value of I exceeds the value of 10, the loop will be terminated. And inside this while loop, we can just print the value of I. And after printing the value of I, the value of I must be incremented. So I will write as I equal to I plus 1. This will increment the value of I in each iteration. So let us run this code. You can see that we have successfully printed the value from 0 to 10. This was all about the loops in Python. Thank you.